Hey there, everybody. This is a game in the winner's bracket, which is round number 2 of Strat Bats. It features the St. Louis Cardinals against the Dodgers. How they got here: the Cardinals beat the A's in the first round, and the Dodgers took care of the Philadelphia Phillies. So now we're ready for second round action, and my rule in the tournament is that once a starting pitcher pitches, he has to wait 2 rounds or sit out 2 rounds before he can pitch again. So for the Cardinals, Bob Gibson obviously is not available. And for the Dodgers, their starting pitcher from the first game is also not available. So we are looking at, hey, Strat-O-Matic Delaware, thanks for chiming in, and I hope you have a great day. I'll catch up with you guys later on that one. All right, so as I was saying, since we're in round 2, we have to go to different starting pitchers. So in this one, Dizzy Dean's going to get the call for the Cardinals, his 1934 season, and Oral Hershiser, 1988. This is the year he set the record for the 59, I believe it was 59 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings in 1988. So we are just about ready to go. There's the starting lineups as you see them there. A couple of tweaks for the Cardinals. I inserted Yadier Molina instead of Ted Simmons, and I also inserted Gary Templeton instead of Ozzie Smith. I think Molina gives them a little bit better defense, and Templeton gives them better offense than Ozzie did. Dodgers lineup pretty much straightforward, the same. So this is basic version, in case you weren't sure of that, because that's where I have a lot of the cards. The older cards are only in basic. So let's get the starting pitchers into the box, and let's get our box. Make sure I don't move anything here or lose anything. Let's put the box where it needs to be. We'll put Oral Hershiser right there, his card. And leading things off for the Cardinals will be Lou Brock. And this is Lou Brock from his 1971 season. He will lead things off. It's a 5-6, so under Hershiser, 5-6, a 1-6, a double. 7-20 is a fly to left. And I didn't mean to bring my green D20 and play on this green felt, but that's just the way it worked out. Hopefully it comes out okay. It's a 19, so that is going to be a fly to left. Lou Brock is retired as we start round 2. Here's Keith Hernandez, his 1979 season, where he hit 344. And this is a 2-6. So under Keith Hernandez, a 2 and a 6 is going to be a walk. So Keith Hernandez will draw a walk. And that'll bring up Albert Pujols. This is 2004 season. And it's a 6-7. So Hershiser, a 6-7 is a ground ball to shortstop X. And the shortstop for the Dodgers is going to be Seager. He's a 3. And that's an 8. So if we go to our basic chart, shortstop, a 3 and an 8 is an out. So it's a good play. And actually, with a runner on first, I need to check and see what kind of an out it was. 3 and an 8 is an out 3. When you have an out 3, that is the completion of a double play. So 6-4-3 to end the top of the first. So Hershiser gets through the Cardinals with no issues. We'll go to the bottom of the first. It'll be Dizzy Dean. Dizzy Dean starting things off for the Cardinals on the mound. The old Diz. And he's going to face Jackie Robinson to start things off. Robinson a 2-3. So for Robinson, a 2 and a 3 is a ground ball to short, and that's one away. Going to bring up Gil Hodges. Hodges, a 6-8 off of Dizzy Dean, is a fly ball to right field, and that's 2 away. One thing about playing the basic, it's not as, maybe as intriguing as the advanced and super advanced, but you sure do play games faster. 2-4 for Duke Snider. 2-4 from Duke Snider is a ground ball to first, and that's going to end the inning. So both pitchers get through the lineup relatively no issues. Go to the top of the second. Oral Hershiser back on the bump, and he'll be facing Stan the Man Musial, his 1955 season. And that's a 4-12. Hershiser. Catcher's card X. So the catcher in this case is going to be Campanella, and he's a 1, and that's a 5. So if we look at the catcher's card, a 1 and a 5, pass ball followed by pop out, but there's nobody on base, so it's simply a pop out. And Stan the Man is gone, 1 away. For Jim Edmonds, center fielder. Oops, I missed the tray. You'd think a tray that close wouldn't be missed, but I missed it. 4-7 for Hershiser. 1 to 12 is a single, and 13 to 20 is a line out to first. That is a 12, so he gets a single. Jim Edmonds, first hit of the game for either team. He gets a 1-out single, brings up Joe Torre. And Torre, a 3-8 for Torre. 3-8 is a fly ball to left field for Joe. And there's 2 down. And that brings up Gary Templeton. He's replacing Ozzie Smith in this round because he had 322, so a little bit better average. And his defense was a 2, so he doesn't drop off that much. 112. 112 is a pop-out plus injury, but we're not doing injuries, so it's simply going to be a pop-out for Templeton. And that will end the top of the second. He popped to first. So the inning is over there for the Cardinals. We go to the bottom of the second, still no score. Dizzy Dean on the bump, and DH Pedro Guerrero to lead things off. It's a 5-8, and a 5-8. 5 and 8 is a strikeout for Dizzy Dean, so puts the K on Guerrero. Here's Roy Campanella to 212. 212 for Campanella is a fly to right, and that's 2 down. That'll bring up Adrian Beltre, third baseman. And that's a 6-7 under Dizzy Dean. That's a ground ball, second base X. Second baseman for the Cardinals is Carpenter. He is a 4. So could be problematic. That's a 7. So a 4 and a 7 is a 1-base error. 1-base error on Carpenter, E4. So he's in there for the offense, but suffer a little bit on the defense. And as a result, Beltre reaches on a 2-out error. Brings up Corey Seager, the shortstop. Ooh, went behind the card. 4. You know what? I'm going to re-roll that because I think the 3 got knocked over too. So let's make this official here. Get it correct. 3-5. 3-5 for Corey Seager. It's a fly ball to right, and that's the end of the inning. So after 2 complete, we are scoreless here in round 2. Oral Hershiser back on the bump, and Yadier Molina steps to the plate. We get a 110 for Molina, and a 110 is a line out to third. There's 1 away. Number 9 hitter, Matt Carpenter, just made that error in the bottom of the inning. We have a 5-10 against Hershiser, and that is a strikeout. So Hershiser goes through the order once with not too much problem. Now there's 2 outs for Lou Brock as we're back to the top of the order. 4-8 is going to be a walk. So he walks Lou Brock. So Brock is definitely going to be looking to try to steal and get in a scoring position. Brock is a double-A stealer, which means he starts at a 17. Starts at a 17, however, the catcher, in this case, Roy Campanella, is a 1. And so when you look at the catcher reduction, according to the book here in BASIC, when you look at the catcher reduction, a 1 is a -4. So he started at a 17 to be down to a 13, but they're still going to take the chance. It's higher than 50-50. So 1 to 13, he's safe. And it's an 8, he is safe. So Lou Brock steals second, gets into scoring position with 2 outs, and that brings up Keith Hernandez. And that's a 5-5, but it's a fly ball to right, and that's going to end the inning. So the stolen base doesn't really do anything after all that is said and done. Nothing doing for the Cardinals in the third. We go to the bottom of the third, still no score. Dizzy Dean back on the bump for Carl Furillo, number 8 hitter in the lineup. Right fielder, it's a 6-4. 6-4 is a fly ball center field X. That's Jim Edmonds. And Edmonds is a 1. And that's an 18. So let's see if that's a good play or not. A 1 and 18 says safe at second on error number 2. So that's a 2-base error on Jim Edmonds. How do you like that? Jim Edmonds, because the D20 camp was an 18, He gets charged with a 2-base error. So Furillo is on second, nobody out for Pete Reeser. Pete Reeser, a 5-5, is a strikeout. So Dizzy Dean comes back to strike out Reeser, 1 away. That'll bring up Jackie Robinson as we're back to the top of the order. And that's a 4-11. 4-11 is a ground ball first base X. That is Keith Hernandez, and he is a 1, as you might expect. So we'll check and see what Hernandez can do defensively. That is a 1. A 1 and a 1. 1 and a 1 is an out 3. Out 3 says the runner advances, so Furillo goes to third as Robinson is out first base unassisted for out number 2. Brings up Gil Hodges, runner at third and 2 outs for Gil Hodges. Hodges flied to right his first time up. It's a 5-8, and Dizzy Dean struck him out. So that's going to end the inning. Dodgers threaten, but do not break through. After 3 complete, we are scoreless. And here is Oral Hershiser back on the bump to face Albert Pujols. And that's a 5-8. 5-8 for Hershiser is a strikeout. Both pitchers on their game today. Here's Stan Musial, Stan the man. Pop to the catcher his first time up. 3-5. This time he's going to, oh, it's 2-5. Sorry, 3-5 is a single. So base hit for Stan Musial, a 1-out single. He's a D stealer, so he's not going anywhere. And Jim Edmonds, the batter. Edmonds, a 1-6. 1-6 for Edmonds, a potential home run, but most likely a double. 2-20 would be a double. And then you got to figure out whether you're going to try to send Musial or not. It's a 19, so it is a double. But with less than 2 outs, Musial runs at a 13. They're going to hold him. So they're going to put runners at second and third with only 1 out and leave it up to Joe Torre. Joe Torre, 4-4 against Hershiser is a strikeout. So that's out number 2. So maybe they should have sent him. I don't know. Gary Templeton, last chance in the inning. 2 outs and runners second and third. 3-5 for Templeton. He flies to right. That's going to end the inning. Had Torrey done that, it would have been a sac fly, but too little too late. So maybe a little bit not aggressive enough for the Cardinals, as they may have been able to score there. You never know. Here's Duke Snyder. He's going to lead off the bottom of the 4th against Dizzy. 6-7. 6-7 is a ground ball second base X. And for the Cardinals, again, that's Carpenter. He's a 4. And that's a 9. It is a 9. So a 4 and a 9 is a single. I'm sorry. It's an out. I was looking at number 5 here. 4 and a 9 is an out. So Carpenter did make that play. And there's 1 away for Pedro Guerrero, the DH, in the ball game. Guerrero, a 6'10". 6'10 is a ground ball shortstop X, and that's going to be Gary Templeton. He's a 2. Remember, he's taking the place of Ozzie Smith. A 2 and a 13. So let's see if that makes any difference or not. 2 and a 13 is an out number 3, so it didn't make any difference. He makes the play. Templeton was a good fielder, so it's not like he was a butcher out there. Just not Ozzie Smith. No one else is. Here's Campanella, 6'9". Another ground ball shortstop X, so Templeton will get another opportunity as a 2-rated shortstop, and that's a 5. So 2 and a 5 is an out, and that's going to be a good play. So nothing doing for the Dodgers. We played 4 complete, and we're scoreless as we head to the 5th, and it'll be Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, and Lou Brock. 5-9. 5-9. Oops, got to get Hershiser up there. 5-9 is a strikeout from Hershiser, so 1 away. That'll bring up Matt Carpenter. Carpenter, a 5-9 is another strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts by Oral Hershiser. And that is a 1-5 for Lou Brock. 1-5 isn't a strikeout. So Hershiser strikes out the side here in the 5th. Go to the bottom of the 5th, still scoreless. And here is Adrian Beltre. Beltre, a 4-6 against Dizzy Dean. That's a single. Hey, Tony, how you doing? That's a single for Adrian Beltre. Tony, if you're just joining, we just started the bottom of the fifth, no score, and Adrian Beltre just led off with a single off the Dizzy Dean card, so that you're all caught up. Here's Corey Seager. Corey Seager, a 5-12. 5-12 off Dizzy Dean is a ground ball second base C, so that's going to move the runner up. Out number one, but Beltre will go to second. So he's in scoring position with one out for Carl Furillo. And that's a 1-4 for Carrillo, or Furillo rather. 1-4 is a line out to short, and that's 2 away. So it's going to leave it up to Pete Reeser. I'm doing pretty well, Tony. Feeling much better than I did on Saturday when I was out in the cold rain at a football game and not being able to speak very well. So hopefully this is better. 1-5 for Pete Reeser. And look at that, Pete Reeser likes it better. 1-4 is a home run. 5-20 is a triple. So either way, we're gonna get our first run of the ball game. And that's an 11. That's a triple for Pete Reeser, number 9 hitter. Pete Reeser has just tripled in Beltre, and the Dodgers are up 1-0. This was the 41 season for Pete Reeser when he hit 343. So Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Hey Beatles, how you doing? 1-0 Dodgers, 2 outs. Here is Jackie Robinson, 3-5, and he's going to walk. So Jackie will walk, puts runners at the corners with 2 outs for Gil Hodges. That's a 5-3. That's a 5-3 is a fly ball left field X. That's Lou Brock, and Brock's a 4. So not very good. That's an 11, so that could drop. You never know. 4 and an 11 is a double. How about that? A double with the number 2, which means runners advance 2 bases. So it's basically a double with 2 stars. So that will score Reeser to make it 2-0 Dodgers, and Robinson has to stop at third base. So the Cardinal bullpen may start to get active here as they're starting to get to Dizzy Dean. Here's Duke Snider, runners at second and third. You could walk Snider, but then you got Pedro Guerrero on deck, so go ahead and pitch to him. 1-9, and it was a mistake. 1-9 is a 3-run shot for Duke Snider. So Duke Snider has just sealed the fate, it looks like, of Dizzy Dean. We now have a 5-0 ball game. Dodgers are blowing it open. It's a 4-4, and it's another chance for a home run, but only if it's a 1. 2-20, it will be a fly to right, and Pedro Guerrero will be out. It's a 4, so he flies to right, and the inning's over. But the Dodgers pick up 5 in the 5th, and after 5 complete, it's the Dodgers 5, Cardinals nothing. And the Cardinals will be looking for new pitching in the bottom of the 6th. So we'll look in their bullpen and see who they can go to. Probably going to go to somebody with some long relief, if there is any such an animal. And there is, Lon Warneke. Lon Warneke, 1941. He was a starter, but he also has some relief value. So Lon Warneke will be coming in to pitch in the bottom of the 6th. Lon Warneke. But right now, Oral Hershiser's soaking in this lead of 5-0. Keith Hernandez starts things off. It's a 6-5. 6-5 is a 1-2 triple. 3-20 is a single. And Keith Hernandez did have 11 triples on the season, so triple was not unrealistic here. But it's an 8, so it's a single for Keith Hernandez, and the Cardinals try to fight back. Here comes Albert Pujols. They have the firepower to do it, that's for sure. 6-11, ground ball first base C, that's going to move the runner up. Pujols is out, but Hernandez will go to second. 1 away for Stan the Man. Stan the Man usual. It's a 3-11 for Stan the Man. 3-11 is a ground ball to second, and that's going to move the runner up to third. So 2 down, runner at third. It's up to Jim Edmonds. 2-3 for Edmonds. 2-3 is a ground ball to second, and the inning is over. So the Cardinals could not break through. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and the aforementioned Lon Warneke is on. That's his 1941 card. So he's kind of got mop-up duty here, as they don't want to use one of their best relievers and use them up and tire them out down 5-0. They want to save them for when the games are closer. Here's Campanella to start things off, 3-6, and Campanella strikes out. So Warnke off to a good start. Getting the K on Campanella. Brings up Adrian Beltre. That's a 5-8. 5-8 off of Warnke is a pop-up to short, and that's 2 away. I'll bring up Corey Seager, shortstop. Seager is 0 for 2. It's a 5-7. Not this time. He's going to get a double or a single. 1 to 15 is a double. 16 to 20 will be a single. It's a double for Kyle Seager, or Corey Seager, rather. Kyle Seager plays for Seattle. This is Corey Seager. Tony, this is a 1988 card for Hershiser when he had the consecutive scoreless streak. So that's the card. That's the year I'm using for Hershiser. 210 for Furillo. 210 is a ground ball to the pitcher to end the inning. So Warnke gets through the 6th with no problem. And just to show you the Hershiser card, 1988 when he was 23-8 with a 2.26 ERA, 267 innings pitched, only 208 hits allowed. So definitely a top-notch card. And now we go to the top of the 7th, and Joe Torre steps to the plate. 5-9 against Hershiser, and we know 5-9 is a strikeout because Cardinals have rolled that quite a bit. So he strikes out. Here's Gary Templeton. And that's a 3-3 for Templeton, and he will ground to second. So that's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Yadier Molina. Molina, a 6-7, and a 6-7 is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Seager. And Corey Seager's a 3. And that's a 15. So that was a 15 there. Shortstop, a 3 and a 15 is a 1-base error. So it's E6. Corey Seager boots it. So each team now has made an error. Inning continues for Matt Carpenter. That's a 3-6 for Carpenter. And it's going to get a hit, but there's 2 stars, so even if he doubles, the runner will not score. So 1 to 16 is a double, but it would not score the run. And it is a double, but with 2 stars, runner cannot advance. So runners at second and third with 2 outs. Back to the top of the order for Lou Brock. And the Cardinals may go to their bench here. They might want to go for some power instead of Lou Brock. They might look to their bench and see if they can get somebody with some thump. And they're going to do that. So Lou Brock is being removed from the ball game. And defensively, he'll be replaced by Kurt Flood in the bottom of the inning. But to come to the plate, Rip Collins from 1934, he had 35 homers. So Rip Collins is going to be the pinch hitter for Lou Brock. So Collins will pinch hit for Brock, and then Kurt Flood will take over defensively in the bottom half of the inning. So Rip Collins trying to get something big going for the Cardinals. Doesn't matter, it's off Hershiser's card. 6-3, it's a fly ball right field X. And the right fielder is Furillo. He's a 1. And that's a 17. That is a 17. So an outfielder, whoops, dropped my thing there. Outfielder 1 to 17 is an out. Barely. 18 would have been an error, but 17 is an out. And so Rip Collins is out of there. So he's gone. And that pinch hitting chance did not work out. Lon Warnke back on the bump. And here's Pete Reiser. He had that big triple his last time up. Got everything going. 2-5. 2-5. This time he strikes out. So Pete Reiser out on strikes. Brings up the top of the order in Jackie Robinson. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. 3-11. 3-11 is a ground ball to short. 2 down as Templeton makes the play. And that brings up Gil Hodges. Gil Hodges, a 1-5. And that's a strikeout. So Gil Hodges is retired. And Warnke has pitched 2 shutout innings of relief. And we go to the 8th. And it's still 5-0. Hershiser going strong. No sense taking him out of there. Hey, Derek, how you doing? If you just joined us, Derek, the Dodgers erupted for 5 runs in the 5th and lead it 5-0 as Oral Hershiser from 1988 is cruising against the Cardinals. Top of the 8th, Johnny Mize leads off. 4-9. 4-9's a ground ball to second, and that's one away. Brings up Albert Poole. I'm sorry, brings up, that was not Johnny Mize, my bad. That was supposed to be Hernandez's bat. I had Johnny Mize off the bench. Somehow I got stuck to another card. So that was really Keith Hernandez's bat, but since it's Strat and it's 50-50, it was off the pitcher card anyway, so it's the same result. So Albert Pujols will now come to the bat, or come to the plate. 6-9, and that's a pop to second, and that's out number 2. So Hershiser might be going for a complete game shutout. Here's Stan the Man. 1-8 for Stan the Man. He's going to get a double 1-9, single 10-20. That's a 12, so it's a single, 2-out single for Stan the Man. He's 2 for 4. Brings with Jim Edmonds, and Jim Edmonds is 2 for 3 so far. It's a 2-5 for Edmonds. 1-17 is going to be a single. 18-20 is going to line out. Well, it is a single, but it's only 1 star. So Musial stops at second base. Brings up Joe Torre, and of course Joe Torre's famous 1971 card where he hit 363 with 24 homers. So one swing of the bat, the Cardinals could make some noise here. But again, it's off Hershiser's card. 4-10. 4-10's a ground ball to third base X, and that is going to be Beltre, who's a 2. And that's a 5. So we check the third base. A 2 and a 5 is out number 1. So he makes the play, and the inning is over. So Hershiser's shutout still intact. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Might as well leave Warnke in there. He's pitched 2 shutout innings. No sense taking him out. Here's Duke Snider. 1-2 for Snider. 1-2 is a fly to center. 1 away for Pedro Guerrero. Pedro Guerrero, 2-5. And 2-5 is a strikeout for Pedro. That's 2 away. Roy Campanella. That's a 3-6 for Campanella, and that's a strikeout. So Warnke, 3 shutout innings of relief. Saves their bullpen a little bit. And we go to the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Cardinals against Oral Hershiser. It'll be Templeton, Molina, and Carpenter, but we're going to get some pinch hitting. So Johnny Mize, who I brought up earlier, is going to pinch hit for Templeton. So Johnny Mize is going to pinch hit for Templeton here in the 9th. And this is his 1941 card where he hit 16 home runs with a .317 average. So Johnny Mize, he got it off his own card this time, 1-7. 1-7's a walk. So Johnny Mize with a walk. And Templeton would have grounded to short on his card, so that at least was a prudent move to go there. Yadier Molina is the batter, but he may not bat either. They may be looking for some more offense, as in Ted Simmons. So Ted Simmons has picked up a bat, and he will come in the ball game as a pinch hitter. And if some miraculous situation sends us to the bottom of the 9th, he would come in and catch. It's Ted Simmons' 1977 season. He hit 21 home runs with a .318 average. It's a 3-9 for Simmons. 3-9 is a fly to right, and that's 1 away. Had I used Molina, his would have been a ground ball to short double play. So, again, it worked out better to use the pinch hitter. Here's Matt Carpenter. Not going to pinch hit for him. 5-2. Ground ball shortstop X, that's Seager. He's a 3. He's already made 1 error. It's an 8. So a 3 and an 8 is an out 3. And an out 3 is the completion of a double play. So that's going to be your ball game. Carpenter hits into the 6-4-3 double play. And Oral Hershiser, the man of the hour, pitches a complete game shutout, 5-0 over the Cardinals. And the Dodgers will advance in the bracket. And the Dodgers will advance in the bracket, and the Cardinals will drop to the losers bracket. The Dodgers will be facing the winner of the next game between the Red Sox and the Pirates. And the Cardinals are going to drop to play the winner of the A's and the Phillies in the losers bracket. So Dodgers behind Oral Hershiser, large and in charge, as the Dodgers get the victory. But never fear, there is another game too, unplanned. It is the Pirates and the Red Sox. So as soon as I move these cards out of the way, I will get going with game number 2. Unexpected doubleheader, but I do have time, so I'm going to go ahead and sneak it in. And I don't see the Earls on a live video, so I'm not bumping into them. So hopefully this will work out well. We'll see. And the starting lineup in the games for the Red Sox and the Pirates will look this way. If I can get it to fit right. There we go. There's your starting lineup that's going to be happening there. Pedro Martinez from 2002 facing Doug Drabek from 1990. And like I said, the winner of this game will advance to play the Dodgers in the winner's bracket of round 3. The loser will fall to the loser's bracket. So, we're just about ready to go as soon as I get everything lined up, which I just about have. I kind of had everything in advance lined up for me just in case I did have time. And so we're just about ready to go. I've already got the score sheet all filled out. All I got to do is change places with the old score sheet from the last game. Do a quick flip, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, we are now ready to go. So we'll put the pitchers in the box here, and get my camera all straight so I don't bump into anything. All right, so Pedro Martinez, his 2002 card, pretty dominant, 20-4 with a 2.26 ERA. He's going to face Doug Drabek from 1990. He was 22-6 with a 2.76 ERA. So, two good pitchers there going for him, but they've got some lineups to deal with. And we're ready to go with Honus Wagner to lead things off for the Pirates. It's a 3-10 for Honus Wagner, and that's going to be a single for Honus Wagner. He's going to lead things off with a single. He's an A stealer. The catcher Fisk is, let's see what Fisk is. Fisk is a 1-rated catcher, so that's going to drop him by 4. If he wanted to steal, it would be down to an 11, 1 to an 11. So Honus Wagner will not steal. So here's Roberto Clemente. He's number 2 batter in the lineup, 5-6 against Pedro, and that's a strikeout. So Pedro strikes out Clemente, out number 1. Brings up Pops, Wilbur Stargell. This was his 1979 We Are Family card. First baseman, Wilbur Stargell. It's a 4-8 against Pedro. That's another strikeout. So Pedro looking to rack up the strikeouts. 2 down for Dave Parker, 1977 card. It's a 6-9. 6-9 is another strikeout for Pedro. So he strikes out the side. And the Pirates go pretty meekly in the top of the first. All right, we go to the bottom of the first. Doug Drabek on the bump. And Wade Boggs will lead things off. 1987 version of Wade Boggs. We get a 2-3. So Wade Boggs, a 2-3, is a fly to right. So there's one away. That brings up Ted Williams, the Splinted Splinter, 1941 season. It's a 3-9 for Ted Williams, and he walks, which he did quite a bit in 1941. So that is a walk. Brings up Yaz, his Impossible Dream season of 1967. And that's a 3-7, and he's going to walk. So back-to-back walks. And that brings up Big Jim Rice, 1977 season, hit 39 home runs. And we get a 1-5 for Jim Rice, and he's going to walk. So 3 straight walks have loaded the bases. 3 straight walks have loaded the bases. Brings up David Ortiz, Big Papi, playing first base because I don't have anybody else. So it's a 2, and I want his bat in the lineup, 2-7. And believe it or not, he's going to walk. So that's 4 consecutive walks as Drabek has definitely lost control here and has walked in a run. Still only 1 out, and brings up Fred Lynn, the center fielder, his 79 season. And that is a 6-4, finally off of the pitcher card. It's ground ball shortstop X. That is Honus Wagner, and Honus Wagner is a 1. So they could look for a double play here, possibly. That's a 5. So a shortstop, a 1, and a 5 is out number 3, which is a double play. So 6-4-3 double play finally gets him out of the jam. But the Red Sox pick up a run without the benefit of a hit. 4 consecutive walks. We go to the second, and it's 1-0 Sox. And that'll bring up Bobby Bonilla, the hero of the first round game, with his home runs. 4-12. Oops, got to move over to Pedro. 4-12 for Pedro is a ground ball to shortstop X. That's Nomar Garcia-Parra. And Nomar is a defensive rating of 2. And that's an 8. So shortstop, a 2 and an 8 is a good play. So Nomar makes the play on Bonilla, 1 away. Brings up Andrew McCutchen, his 2014 season, center fielder. 5-7 against Pedro is a strikeout. So Pedro rings up another one. Brings up Al Oliver, his 1977 season. He's a left fielder. 4-7. 4-7's a ground ball second base X. That's Dustin Pedroia. And Dustin Pedroia is a 1. So that's a 20. So that might be a re-roll. We'll see here. Yep, a 1 and a 20 says roll 20-sided die again. So we're going to try again. That's a 10. And unfortunately, a 10 is, I'm thinking on second base, not first base. 10 is an out. Out 3. If it was a first base, it would have been an error. So I almost got the wrong pair. But Pedroia did make the play. And the inning is over. So Pedro, 6 up, 6. After that leadoff single, it's been 6 up, 6 down since then. Go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Sox, and Carlton Fisk, his 1977 season. It's a 3-11 for Fisk. 3-11, a 1's a triple. 2 to 20 is a double. So most likely a double for Pudge. Ooh, it's 2. He almost got his triple, but it is a double. He leads off with a double. And here's Nomar. Nomar, 4-6 is a walk. So Drabek again with another walk, his 5th walk of the ball game. And the Pirate bullpen is loosening already. We have the old-timer down in the bullpen in long relief, that being Babe Adams. So Babe Adams from his 1909 card when he was 12-3 with a 1.11 ERA. So he is in the bullpen, and he may be coming in shortly because Drabek just doesn't seem to have it. Here's Dustin Pedroia. That's a 6-5. 6-5 is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Honus Wagner again. He is a 1. And that's an 18. So a 1 and an 18 is an out number 3, and that is a double play. 6-4-3. Get 2 quick outs, but it does move Fisk to third. And we're back to the top of the order in Wade Boggs. And that is a 5-9. 5-9 off of Drabek is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So Drabek pitches out of that mess, gets around the leadoff double, and we go to the top of the third. Still 1-0 favor of the Red Sox, but with Pedro pitching, that's a big lead. All right, top of the third, here's Tony Pena, catcher. 4-9, and that's another strikeout for Pedro. Just Pedro being Pedro. Here's the number 9 hitter, Johnny Ray at second base. That's 2-5 for Johnny Ray. And that's going to be a single. So Johnny Ray will get a base hit. Second hit rather off of Pedro, as Honus Wagner also singled off of him. And Honus Wagner's batting now. It's a 3-5. Ooh, Honus Wagner's going to do some damage here. 3-5 is a 1-13 triple. 14-20 is a double. 1-13 will be a triple. It's a 20, so it's a double. So now we got to figure out whether Johnny Ray is going to try to score. He's a 1-15, so I think they're going to go ahead and send him. And it's a 7. He's safe, so Johnny Ray will score all the way from first on that double. And we got a tie ball game at 1 apiece. So Pedro showing some chinks in the armor as Honus Wagner comes through with a double. Here's Roberto Clemente. 6-11 is a ground ball first base C, so the runner is going to advance. Clemente is out, but Honus Wagner goes to third. Now there are 2 outs, though, for Wilbur Stargell. And that's a 2-11 for Wilbur, and that's a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. But the Pirates pick up a run, tie the score. We go to the bottom of the third, and Drabek's going to stick in there as long as he can to face Ted Williams. We got a 6-9. 6-9 is a ground ball to second base. One away. That will bring up Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski. That is a 3-7 for Yaz, and that is yet another walk by Drabek. If you're keeping score, that's 6 walks for Drabek. Here's Jim Rice. It's a 1-9. 1-9 is a strikeout, so comes back with a strikeout for out number 2. Brings up Big Poppy. So Drabek's got to get through Big Poppy. It's a 6-7. 6-7, and Big Poppy pops it out to first to end the inning. So Drabek pitches around all these walks. And we go to the 4th. It's still 1-1. As the Pirates now will send up Dave Parker to lead things off. That's a 4-11. 4-11 is a ground ball to the pitcher X, and Pedro's a 1. So Pedro's a 1 as a pitcher, and that's a 17. 1 and a 17 is an out, so that's a good play. As Parker taps it back meekly to the mound. Brings up Bobby Bonilla, third baseman. It's a 5-11. That's a ground ball. I'm sorry, 5-11. It's a fly ball to left field X. That is going to be Yastrzemski, and he is a 1 rated left fielder, as you might imagine. That's a 16. So an outfielder, 16 and a 1 is an out. So 2 away. Brings up Andrew McCutchen. And that's a 6-4 off of Pedro. Ground ball third base X, that's going to be the third baseman Wade Boggs. And Boggs, defensively, is a 2. And that's a 7. So a 2 and a 7 is an out number 3. Good play. End of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 4th, still tied at 1, and the Pirates are going to make the move. They're not going to take any more chances with Drabek the way he's struggling. They're going to bring in Babe Adams. So Babe Adams gets the long relief role today, and he'll be facing Fred Lynn. So Fred Lynn, his 1979 season, he will be starting things off against the Babe, or the other Babe. 5-6. 5-6 is a strikeout. So Babe Adams makes his presence felt. Brings up Pudge, Carlton Fisk. It's a 1-5 for Pudge, and he strikes out. So Babe Adams, 2 quick strikeouts. Brings up Nomar with the bases empty and 2 outs. It's a 4-10. It's a fly ball center field X. That's McCutchen. And McCutchen is a 2. And that's a 5. So outfielder, 2 and a 5 is a good play, out number 4. So inning is over. We go to the 5th, and it's still 1-1. Leading off for the Pirates will be Al Oliver, left fielder. It's a 6-5, and that is another strikeout for Pedro. That'll bring up Tony Pena. And that's a 6-11, which is a ground ball to first. Out number 2. 6 strikeouts for Pedro, in case you're wondering. Here's Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray, a 3-11. 3-11's a ground ball to second, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Pirates here in the 5th. And Pedro has 6 strikeouts through 5 innings. Dave Adams back on the bump. We'll be facing Dustin Pedroia, number 9 hitter. And that's a 4-4. 4-4 is going to be a single for Pedroia off of Babe Adams. And Pedroia, he's only a C stealer, so he's not going anywhere. But Wade Boggs is up. And you know what? I don't like to normally do this when I just got the urge to do it for some reason or another. I am going to do a hit and run with Wade Boggs. So on the basic version hit and run, you just roll two D6s. The rating of the player doesn't really matter. So 2 D6s here, we got a 3. So a 3 on the hit and run is a single. Runners advance 2 bases. So Wade Boggs plays hit and run with Pedroia and puts runners at the corners with nobody out for Ted Williams. Splendid splinter. That's a 3-6 for Ted. And that's a single, and that's going to drive in Pedroia from third, and the Red Sox take a 2-1 lead. Boggs will stop at second with the 1 star. All right, that brings up Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski. So now the Babe's in trouble. 6-5 is a fly ball to center. That's out number 1. Tries to restore some order here. Here's Jim Rice. That's a 3-10 for Rice. That's a ground ball shortstop A. That is a double play. So Babe Adams pitches out of the mess after allowing the 1 run. And we get a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. But the Red Sox do strike for that 1 run, and after 5 complete, it's Boston 2 and Pittsburgh 1. And we start the top of the 6th with Honus Wagner facing Pedro. That's a 4-7. It's a ground ball second base X. That's Dustin Pedroia, who is a 1, as you might imagine. And that's an 18 for Pedroia as a 1 rated second baseman. So we'll check the chart for an 18. 1 and 18 is roll 20-sided die again. So we're going to try it again. And that's a 14 this time. And that's an out number 3. So good play by Pedroia. Honus Wagner is out. And then I bring up Roberto Clemente. Clemente is 0 for 2 with a strikeout, so he could use a hit. 1-7, and he's going to get it. 1-7 is a double or a single. So a 1-7 will be a double. Anything else is a single. That's an 18, so it's a single for Roberto. He's only a D stealer, though, so he's not going to go anywhere. And Wilbur Stargell, the batter. Big pops. 5-5, and he's going to strike out. Pedro struck him out. That's number 7 for Pedro in the ball game. If you're doing the K counter, that's 7. Here's Parker. 5-5 is another strikeout, so that's number 8. So through 6 innings, Pedro has fanned 8, and they lead it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Big Papi is on. Hello, Phantomatic. Big Papi is up 1-3 for Big Papi. Ground ball to second, and that's 1 away. Brings up Fred Lynn. Pirate bullpen is stirring down there. 1-2 for Fred Lynn, and that's a ground ball to the pitcher, Babe Adams. 2 down for Carlton Fisk. Pudge. Pudge, a 1-8. Pudge, a 1-8 is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So Babe Adams doesn't do too terribly bad. He pitches 2 innings and gives up, check that, 3 innings and gives up 1 run. After Drabek pitched 3 innings to give up 1 run. So we'll get a new pitcher for Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 7th. Right now, Pedro's up there in the top half of the 7th. And he'll be facing Bobby Bowe. And that's a 1-4 for Bonilla. Ground ball to first, 1 away. So they've held Bonilla in check. He's 0 for 3. Here's Andrew McCutchen. He's 0 for 2. There's a lot of 0-fers against Pedro. 2-4, 2-4, not this time. Andrew McCutchen just went deep. 2-4. 2-4 is a home run for Andrew McCutchen. And we have a tie ball game just like that, just that quickly. Things have been tied, 2-2. Here's Al Oliver. 1-8 for Oliver. He will pop to first, and that's out number 2. Brings up Tony Pena. 2-10 for Pena. He's going to ground to short. I get the focus right. Ground to short for Tony. And that's going to end the inning. But the Pirates strike thanks to the McCutchen home run. And we go to the bottom of the 7th with the score 2-2. And we'll get a new Pirates pitcher. And the new Pirates pitcher is going to be Joel Hanrahan. So Joel Hanrahan, this is 2011 season. He had a 1.83 ERA with 40 saves. So he's going to come in and pitch the bottom of the 7th. And he'll be facing Noma to start off the bottom of the 7th. So Hanrahan becomes the 3rd Pirate pitcher. So here's Noma. It's 6'11". It's a fly ball to left. Al Oliver, as a left fielder, he is a 3. And that's a 3. That could drop in. Let's see. 3 and a 3. Nope, 3 and a 3 is an out number 4. So he did make the catch. 1 away. Brings up Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia. 6'10". 6'10 is a fly to left. Oliver handles it again. 2 down, top of the order for Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs, a 5-6, is a strikeout by Hanrahan. And we go to the 8th with the tie score, 2-2. And we're going to get a relief pitcher for Pedro. We're not going to do the old what's-his-name thing, Brady Little thing, and leave him in there. So we're going to take him out. And let's see who's going to be coming in relief. They got several options, several good options as well. And they're going to turn it over to Koji Urahara. Koji Urahara, his 2014 season when he had 26 saves, 2.52 ERA. So Koji is in, trying to keep things right where they are for the Red Sox. And they'll be facing the bottom of the order, Johnny Ray, Honus Wagner, and Roberto Clemente. We might get a pinch hitter for Johnny Ray. Let's take a look at the Pirate bench here. Could get a pinch hitter. And then use Bill Mazeroski as a defensive replacement. Let's see, do they have anybody better? That's the question. Yep, they're going to go with Andy Van Slyke. So Andy Van Slyke is going to pinch hit. Andy Van Slyke is going to pinch hit for Johnny Ray. And then Bill Mazeroski will take over at second base. So Andy Van Slyke, his 1992 season for Mr. Van Slyke, when he hit .324 with 14 homers. He's going to pinch hit against Koji. It's a 1-7, and he draws a walk. So it's a walk to Van Slyke as the Pirates get their leadoff batter on. And Honus Wagner is up, so they're looking to bunt. And again, on the basic, the sacrifice bunt is all predetermined by the dice rolls. It really doesn't matter about the bunting ability of the player. So we'll roll 2d6s and see what happens. We get a 6. Probably a good bunt. Batter thrown up by a third baseman. So there you go. So the sacrifice works. Call it 5-4. And Van Slyke now is in scoring position with 1 out for Roberto Clemente. And that's a 6-4 against Koji. It's catcher X, which is Carlton Fisk. And Fisk defensively is a 1-rated catcher. That's a 2. So a 1 and a 2. Safe at first, error, dribbler. So how about that? Pudge boots the dribbler. So he's safe at first. And Van Slyke will move over to third. So runners are at the corners on the E2. Very uncharacteristic of Fisk. But that D20 with the 2 on it gives you some strange results. So that'll bring up Pops Stargell with runners at the corners and 1 out. Infield at double play depth, looking to turn 2. 6-11. The fly ball right field X, that's going to be Ted Williams. And Teddy Ballgame is a 3. And that's an 18. So a 3 and an 18 says roll 20-sided die again. And this time it's an 8. A 3 and an 8 is an out 1. Out 1 says runners advance 1 base. So there you go. It's a sacrifice fly. Turned in by Stargell, and the Pirates grab the 3-2 lead as Van Slyke comes in to score. Now there's 2 away with the runner at first. And we're looking at Dave Parker. Pirates lead at 3-2. It's a 3-6 for Parker. That's a single with 1 star. So that's going to keep the inning going. It will move Clemente to second. So 2 on, 2 outs for Bobby Bonilla. And Koji's in trouble. Has to get Bonilla here. 2-6. And he's going to walk Bonilla, and that's going to be it for Koji. They can't take any more chances because McCutchen is up next, and he homered his last time. So back to the bullpen. Back to another call to the bullpen for the Red Sox. And let's see who they're going to go to this time, as Koji was unable to get the job done. So they're going to turn it to, they really need somebody that can get an out here. They're going to go to John Wyatt. He was the reliever, their closer in 1967's Impossible Dream season. 2.61 ERA with 20 saves. So they're going to go to John Wyatt. They're going to look to Wyatt to get out of this mess. This is now the 3rd pitcher for the Red Sox, so each team has used 3 pitchers so far. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Andrew McCutchen, who homered last time up. It's a 2-5 for McCutcheon, and he might do it again. 1 to 16 is a triple. I'm sorry, 1 to 16 is a homer. 17 to 20 is a triple. So if this is a 1 to 16, McCutcheon will have a grand salami. And he does. It's a grand slam for Andrew McCutcheon. So he's obviously the player of the game, as he just hits a grand slam home run and has blown this thing wide open against the Red Sox bullpen. Here's Al Oliver. So obviously Wyatt failed coming in to try to stop the bleeding. Oliver pops to second to end the inning, almost anticlimactic. But for the Pirates here in the top of the 8th, they register a total of 5 runs. So in the first game, it was a 5 spot in the 5th for the Dodgers. In this game, it's a 5 spot in the 8th for the Pirates. And they're going to go to another pitcher, I believe. No, Hanrahan's going to get a second inning. He only faced 3 batters. So they're going to let him pitch a second inning. He's facing Teddy Ballgame. It's 6-8. 6-8 is a fly to center, and that's 1 away. Brings up Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski. That is a 2-4 for Yastrzemski. 2-4 is a ground ball to first. And there's 2 away for Jim Rice. Jim Rice, 5-7. 5-7 is a ground ball second base X. The second baseman, the new one, is Mazeroski. Remember, he came in when they pinch hit for Johnny Ray. So Mazeroski's a 1. 7. So at second base, a 7 and a 1 is a good play, and the inning is over. So we go to the 9th. New pitcher for the Red Sox. Not that it really matters at this point because they're down 7-2, but they're going to bring him in anyway. And it's going to be Derek Lowe. This is the relief version of Derek Lowe, where he had 42 saves. So Derek Lowe, the 4th pitcher for the Red Sox, is in. Derek Lowe. And he'll try to keep things where they are if possible. And he's going to be facing Tony Pena. It'll be Pena, Mazeroski, and Honus Wagner in the 9th. 4-3. 4-3 is a ground ball first, and that's 1 away. Brings up Mazeroski, his first at bat since coming in the game for defensive purposes. 1-9 for Mazeroski is a ground ball to short. That's 2 away. And that'll bring up Andy Van Slyke. That's a 1-8 for Van Slyke. That's a single. So it's a 2-out single for Van Slyke. I'm sorry, it shouldn't have been Van Slyke. It should have been Honus Wagner. I didn't move Van Slyke when he pinch hit. My bad. So let's check that again. 1-8 on Honus Wagner. 1 to 14 is a single. And 15 to 20 is a line out. So it's still a single because a 10 means Honus Wagner got his single. His 3rd hit of the game. So he's had a good game. Here's Roberto Clemente. 3-5 for Clemente. He will single. So that puts runners at first and second with 2 outs for Big Pops, Wilbur Stargell. And the Boston bullpen just doesn't have it today. 3-7. 3-7, a 1 to 17 is another single, but only 1 star. 18 to 20 will be a line out to first. It's a single. That's going to load the bases. So after getting 2 quick outs, the bases are now loaded for Dave Parker, the Cobra. We get a 4-6, and that's a pop out to third to end the inning. So Lowe pitches out of any more trouble. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and I believe this will be the first visiting team, or I'll check that. I think Pittsburgh won as a visiting team last time. So Pittsburgh going for the 2nd upset in a row. And we're getting a new pitcher for the Pirates. They don't want to wear Hanrahan out, so they're going to their bullpen to get a relief pitcher. And the relief pitcher they're going to go to is, let's see if they have anybody that hasn't pitched yet. I think they've all pitched in that first game because of the extra innings. So it looks like we're going to go to Tony Watson. So Tony Watson is in to try to wrap things up. His 2014 season for Tony Watson. And he was 10-2 with a 1.63 ERA, so certainly solid. And he will be facing Big Papi to start things off. And that's kind of the strategy you would use if you were doing advance. You'd have a lefty on lefty matchup. But basically, matter. 2-3 for Poppy is a ground ball back to the pitcher, and that's one away. So the Pirates 2 outs away from advancing. Here's Fred Lynn. 5-7 is a strikeout for Tony Watson. So there's 2 down. Last chance is Pudge Fisk. He is the last hope. That's a 5-5, and that's a walk. So Fisk keeps it going. Brings up Nomar. Last chance is Nomar. That's a 5-2, and that's a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning and end the ball game. So the Pirates would be considered upset over the Red Sox as they got to the Red Sox bullpen after Pedro left the game. It was 2-2, but then they got to Koji Urahara, knocked him around a bit, and you flip this around so you don't have to look at that anymore. Hopefully it'll let me do that. Is it going to let me flip it or not? It may not. There it is. Okay, there you go. All right, so there you go, doubleheader, and the Pirates have advanced in the bracket. So the Pirates will advance in the winners bracket to face the Dodgers, and the Red Sox are going to drop, and the Red Sox will be facing the. Looks like they'll be facing the. Let's see, who are they going to be facing here? Red Sox are going to be facing the winner of the White Sox-Cleveland game in the losers bracket. So maybe Beatles, maybe you gave good karma to the Pirates, I don't know, but they certainly were able to come through with their second consecutive upset victory as they took out the Giants yesterday or Saturday, and now they've come back and done it again. So now we have to figure out who the third pitcher is going to be, because it can't be Candelaria and it can't be Drayback. So I'm kind of leaning towards Garrett Cole. So Garrett Cole, I can't see it, I said the camera turned the other way. Garrett Cole, I can't get this thing in camera, I don't think. It's going to really mess up here. Anyway, Garrett Cole from 2015 is going to most likely be the player of choice to pitch that game. And for the Dodgers, we're looking at Fernando Valenzuela from 1986 to pitch his game. Don't know about the Red Sox. Probably Curt Schilling, because we used Pedro and we used Roger Clemens. So Curt Schilling's going to get the start in that must-win game for the Red Sox going forward. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in and watching. Doubleheader, unexpected. I didn't expect to do 2 games, but the opportunity presented itself, so I went for it. And I got 2 games done in an hour. How about that? That's pretty good. In 1 hour, I played 2 games. I've played some of these board games where the first game takes an hour. So to play the basic in 2 hours, or 2 games in 1 hour, is pretty good. And like I said, it doesn't present the strategy that the other games do, as far as the advanced and super advanced versions of Strat does. But you certainly get the expedited amount of play or way of play. So hope everybody enjoyed that. Yep, the Eric Dodgers, it will be Fernando Mania in the next round, as the Dodgers will be playing the Pirates. It'll be Fernando Mania against Garrett Cole. So glad you guys were able to make it and tune in. Glad to be able to get 2 games in, fairly quickly within that 1 hour time frame. And no more baseball, real life, but there's certainly tabletop baseball out there in numerous channels. I think Espo said he's doing a live thing at 8 o'clock tonight, so check that out. As usual, check out the Earls when they do theirs, or Strat-O-Matic Delaware, or ID Jester, or somebody. I'll probably forget somebody. If I try to list them, I'll forget somebody. I don't want to offend anybody. So anybody that's out there playing tabletop baseball on their channel, please support them. Mike, on the Braves replay, I just finished playing game 137, so by my count, that leaves 23 games remaining. So most of those are being played offline, and then I update the on Facebook page. I put a picture of the score sheet, and then give a game recap. So may do a video of theirs, another one of theirs shortly. Certainly, I will do the final game. That's going to get some pomp and circumstance because it's been a long project. But in the meantime, I have to get my Strat on. So you guys have a great day, great evening, and play whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And as usual, I will see you all down the road.